What's up, everybody? Looks like we have hey gosh, looks like everything might be working. Could that possibly be the case? Yes, it is. Let me go ahead and tone this microphone down just a bit. It is kind of hot. There we go. That's pretty good. You all are probably here because you are interested in the topic du jour, as we like to say, or I don't like to say it. I think it's the first time I've ever said the topic du jour on my live stream, but we are looking at Raspberry Pi, specifically the Raspberry Pi 5. And let me talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. First of all, this is like my whole collection of Raspberry Pis. I think I have a Pi problem, and I mean that in a good way, I think. All of these represent, including the Stream Deck now, knowing that there's a Raspberry Pi driving this thing. I have Raspberry Pis all over, and they've all been used for a lot of different, as a matter of fact, I have another one in a box over there that is running retro game emulator. I take it to the Makerspace when Makerspace has their events, and I set it out with a little joystick, and kids can come by and just try all of the games that we grew up with, and it's very popular. But here, this was, for the longest time, this was running software for my 3D printer. Inside here is a Raspberry Pi 3. This was not a capacitive touch, but it was one of those touch screens, but I could operate Octopi and my printer. But I have since upgraded my printer, and all that stuff is in the cloud now. So here's what I love. I found this in a box. This is the original, folks. This is the Raspberry Pi 1, and I've always wondered what I could do with this. I believe this is 512. Is that what this came with? I think there were two models, 256 and 512. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have to admit, though, I still love that it uses full-size SD cards. And one of these days, I'm going to figure out what to do with it. I love that it had analog audio and video out. It was a little slow for sure. It did have LAN. It had only two USB ports, which I remember that being a struggle because by the time you put a mouse and a keyboard, you were done. Nothing else. This one is a Raspberry Pi 2. This one is really cool. I found this case with this screen plugs right. It's a hat that plugs from Pi Maroni, plugged right on top of the Raspberry Pi 2, and it lets you have a little screen. And I was using this for Wi-Fi. I had to use a USB Wi-Fi plug, which is here. By the way, LAN only on this one, no Wi-Fi. But you got 4 USB ports so that you could have USB and a mouse and a keyboard. So that was really nice. Little upgrade. I think this is 1 gig, if I'm not mistaken. But I was doing retro gaming on this. Whenever this Raspberry Pi 2 is released, that's what I was using. And then we went to the Raspberry Pi 3, which is right here. The Raspberry Pi 3 is upgraded even some more with Wi-Fi, HDMI. What did the Raspberry Pi 2 have? Raspberry Pi 2 also had HDMI. Raspberry Pi 3 still had the micro USB for power. Then, and I don't have one because I've used it, the Raspberry Pi 4, which is running this thing over here, and that had USB-C power, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, everything, which is just great. This is the Raspberry Pi Zero, and there's been, I think, 2 versions of this. Raspberry Pi Zero, Raspberry Pi Zero W with Wi-Fi. That's what this is. This is going to go in my Pi DP 8, but this is what we're doing today. I have the official Raspberry Pi 5 right here that has never been taken out of the box. But we're not just going to fire this up. We're going to do something unusual, not unusual, but something new. We are going to add a NVMe SSD using this Waveshare PCI to M.2 Hat. So we're actually going to prepare this and get it all ready. I also do have the Pi Active Cooler. You really need that for this Raspberry Pi right here. I also have the official 27-watt Raspberry Pi USB-C power supply. Even before I do all this, I am going to prepare this SD card. This is a 32 gigabyte. You can see that right there. So it's a SanDisk. So we're going to take that, plug that in. So I'm going to go back to my Mac view here. And I have pulled up the Raspberry Pi Imager. This is the latest version, 1.8.5. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this to prepare our SD card. You know, a lot of times you would use Etcher, but there's some things that this does that maybe a lot of people don't know about that makes your Raspberry Pi setup so much easier. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose our device. And this is the Raspberry Pi 5. The operating system we're going to choose is the Raspberry Pi OS 64-bit right here. So we're going with the stock. We're going to choose our storage. And that is this 32 gig that we just talked about. So we'll select that. Now I'm going to go to next. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit some settings. So I'm going to do this right here. Now this has been set up. So you can see yesterday I was setting up my Raspberry Pi 4 to be the companion server for my Stream Deck. My host name for it was companion.local. I've already got the username, password. The nice thing is I already have my wireless LAN. I have my locality settings. All of that is going to be burned to the SD card so that when I turn it on, it is automatically going to connect connect and be accessible on my home network. But I don't want that host name, so let's change that host name. So I'm gonna call this RPi5. You want to make it something that you're going to remember. And then, like me, you're going to write that down somewhere because you will forget it at some point. So this would be, to address this, it'll be rpi5.local. That'll let us SSH into the device and connect remotely to it. Now, eventually what I will do is once I get it online, I'll go to my, by the way, I have a new router. It is right here. This is a new TP link. I actually have two of them. I have one downstairs, one upstairs, so it's a mesh. And in there, I will assign a DHCP for that specific device. So it always has the same IP address. But the nice thing is, you don't really need it when you set a host name either. There is something new for the Raspberry Pi 5, and I'm probably gonna do a video on it, called RPi Connect. And RPi Connect is a free service from the Raspberry Pi folks where you can go in, create an account, set up your Raspberry Pi 5, download the RPi Connect software on your Raspberry Pi 5, and you can access that Raspberry Pi 5 anywhere in the world. It's making me change the way that I think I'm going to use this Raspberry Pi 5. Now, the other things you do have your services. I have enabled SSH, so if I want to log into this Raspberry Pi, I could type Stephen Combs at rpi5.local, and now let me SSH into it. You also have some additional options here, play sound, eject, all those kinds of fun. So there you go. I don't need to enable telemetry. I'll turn that one off. So we'll save that. And then it says, would you like to apply customization settings? We'll say yes, right here. And all existing, again, just be careful, select the right thing, and we're going to say yes. That's going to go ahead and write that. Let me do a little password here, make sure I'm not showing anything. Yep. And we are writing, so we will let that go for now, as I am going to come back to my top down and we'll go ahead and start breaking out some of the parts and components and things that we need. All right, let's get the Raspberry Pi 5 out of here. None of these things have been opened. Oh, open here. Look at that. I'm sitting here trying to open from here and it says open here. There you go, folks. Open there. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, here we go. My first look at a Raspberry Pi 5. We get a little card right here. It says inspect something. What are we inspecting? I don't know what we're inspecting. Something about temperature, all this, raspberrypi.com. So we have that. We'll put that back in here. We do have our safety and user guide. That's always exciting reading right there, man. I tell you what, got our PCI connector here. That's going to be a little tricky, I'm sure, to get connected. Hopefully that won't cause us any problems. Looks like we have USB 3.0 and 2.0. We have Ethernet. I think that's still a 1 gig Ethernet, if I'm not mistaken. We do have our micro SD here. One of the things that has been removed is the audio jack. You no longer have the audio jack. Everything's coming out of micro HDMI if you need sound. And then we have USB-C for power. All right, here is the hat. I don't know why I didn't get the official one. I got the, I think it was $3 cheaper. I may regret that. I got the Waveshare. Usually their stuff is pretty good. Many people are making this adapter now. I think the key for us is going to be, can we figure out how to get this thing together? This is, looks like this is going to sit here, and then this is going, these are going to slide into here like this, and then that's going to sit there. Let's see if we can get this thing in here. There we go, right there. So let's go ahead and put that down, and then let's go ahead and get our standoffs. I love this keyboard. I would just say this has been a blast. I love the feel. Now I am on a Mac, so I had to do some swapping of keys. Alts are actually my commands, and they don't have replacement keys, unfortunately. But I'm more muscle memory, so I don't have to worry about that. This thing, isn't it so cool? It just gives the desk a nice retro vibe. All right, we're going to tighten these guys up a little bit here, and I do not have that little tool with me. I should have grabbed my little tool, but it's fine for now. So there's that. All right, let's see if we can get this cooler on. Here is the cooler for the Raspberry Pi 5, and interesting that the Raspberry Pi 5 really requires this. The old Raspberry Pis, the fan pins were this one and this one. It's the little white header to the right of the 40 pin. There's a cap on it, and we're just going to pull this little guy out. Look at that. I'm just curious why they even put that in there. I guess because it's providing power, maybe just to cover it. We'll put it in a box. Yeah, it looks like it's going to go this way, which that makes sense because it got the little notch right there. I just want to be careful because I'm getting ready to peel some paste, and then we're going to push these little things into the holes right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off, it's not really thermal paste, it's thermal pads instead of paste. And we'll try and get this just right. I'm going to be away from the camera here just so I make sure and get it perfect. There we go. That one posted right in. And then I need to get this one, which is right here. See that? There we go. So we got that one right there. It's not just a fan. It does have heat sinks and the fan. Okay, now we're going to plug this in. You're going to have to go this way. That's going to be tricky. I think I'm going to pop the cooler off because it's too difficult. And I'm going to take this post off right here too. What I've done is I've popped that off and this post right here. So now we're going to try it. I want to thank the folks at Link Micro for sending that over to the channel, because I'm not sure I ever would have got that thing in there. All right, so let me get this back on here. Okay, so there we go. We have the standoffs. We have the active cooler in place. All right, so next we need to put the hat on. There we go. Oh, that's kind of a nice little, that's a slick little system, isn't it? All right, let's go ahead and screw these in. All right, let me tighten this thing down. Now, the next thing we want to do is, I think we should boot first without plugging this in. Let's make sure everything is working here first. So we're going to plug in a few things. The cool thing about this is I'm running my Mac on this, and I'm going to run the Raspberry Pi with it. This has a switch. I'm going to switch over from Bluetooth to the 2.4 right here. So we're going to plug this in. There we go. Then we're going to use that cheapo mouse we bought right here. Then what I'm going to do is, here's our SD card. We're going to plug this in here, and let's just see if it boots. For the monitor, I am going to try something. I'm going to try and go to my capture device. Let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in and see if we can get this to work. Now, which one does it go in? All right, and then we'll plug into the capture card. Let's grab the power. The official power supply of the 2024 Olympics. So let's plug this in here, and then we're going to plug this in. Let's go to our retro view. Fan is cooling. Fan works. We have a desktop. I need to fix that resolution. Hold on. There we go. Get that stretched out the way it's supposed to. We'll let that boot. I guess it's got to take a little bit of time. It's going to probably boot and expand the partition, do a couple of things. Oh, there it is. Hey folks, mouse works. Okay, you are now connected to the wireless. Hey, and we're connected. All right, so this is the Raspberry Pi 5. Let's see what we have. This is the latest operating system. Very cool. Here we have our Raspberry Pi imager. We could create an image from here too if we ever need to do that. I'm just curious. This is supposed to be really fast. Let's check and see how fast it is. I have clicked web browser. There we go. So we're Chromium. Let's go to youtube.com/@retrocombs. Oops. Oh, interesting. Where's my @ symbol? Oh, my keyboard is set to Great Britain. We can fix that later. Let's go ahead and we'll just type in retroCombs. Let's see what retroCombs is up to right now. Oh, look, he's live and there's 12 people watching. That's pretty fast. I will say that is a lot faster than the old version, the Raspberry Pi 4. Everything is much quicker. Not bad. Let's see, what version do we have? Settings. Looks like we're on 125. So that's almost the latest version. I think 126 has just been released. What is this guy? Updates are available. Click to install. There you go. Let's go ahead and do that. We want to install our updates because you have to have the latest OS and firmware for the M.2 Hat to work. Now, one of the things I know that we need to do is we also need to update the firmware, make sure we have the latest version. Raspbian config, and I think, let me update, make sure this is the latest version, should be. Yep. And then let me just check a few things here. Display, interface, RPi Connect. We're going to enable that. SSH is enabled, that's good. Formats, localization, let's see, locale. There we go, all right. US. All right, that's going to take a while to generate that. Time zone, yep, that's good. And keyboard layout, that's correct. There we go. And let's see, anything else here? Grab that. So this will be the one right here that we need to do next. It's the boot order, but I think we've got some things to install before we can change our boot order for the NVE. So I think what we need to do now is shut this down, get our drive installed. Let's go ahead and finish. Reboot now, yes. Well, that's a fast boot, isn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to load up the terminal. I believe this has already been updated. Yep, we're good there. Is that right? I wonder if I fixed my keyboard. Oh, it did fix my keyboard. Good. Okay, there we go. Up to date. Good deal. We are up to date, so that's good. Advanced options, bootloader version, and we want latest. Yes, there we go. That should set up there. Bootloader reset to default configuration. Okay. What I'm going to do is we're going to do a shutdown instead of a reboot, and then we're going to put in the SSD. Log out, shut down. So we're going to unplug everything, and then we're going to, let's see if we can get this thing installed. So this does support 2 different sizes. You can see that here. This is 22 millimeters by 30 millimeters long, and this is 22 by 42 millimeters long. Now I went with this brand. It's called the Kyochiya, but it's actually a Toshiba OEM brand that I found. It was relatively inexpensive. So it looks like this one is the smaller one, 22 by 30. So let's go ahead and we're gonna put this right here. Let's go ahead and take our little screw out. This is gonna actually mount up here. Go ahead and put this in. So this fits into here like this. This goes down here. And then this, I believe, will screw in from the bottom to hold that down. Look at that. In some ways, I'm kind of curious why they even do that. Why wouldn't they just have the two holes, have this, and that would be the solution for both holes. Let's see if we can get this ribbon cable in. Sure that both triangles as shown are on the same side when connecting the cable. I don't have a triangle, all I have is a dot. Let me see if they have an assembled piece. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can recreate that right there. All right, we're gonna plug this in here. Okay, that one is in. Let's go ahead and lock that one down. And then according to that picture, this one goes like this. And then we lock that down. So now this says 40 millimeters here, and then on this, that says 40 millimeters. So that should be connected properly. What I'm gonna do is switch over to here. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna plug in power. Let's go to Accessories, Imager. We're gonna choose our device, 5, choose OS, choose our storage there. So we're gonna click on that. We are going to go to Next. And we're going to edit our settings because remember, one of the things I love about the Raspberry Pi Imager is we can set some of this stuff up. We're going to set our host name, and I'm going to call this rpi5.local so I can connect it, and we are going to do this. So we are going to configure our this information. It looks like that's already in there. We are going to set our locale, and then let's go to services. We're going to enable SSH. We're going to use password authentication options. We're not going to enable telemetry. Yeah, we'll play a sound. I don't think we'll hear it. And then let me go back here. And would you like to apply? Yes. All right, are you sure you want to continue? Yes, let's see how fast this goes. All right, authentication. Okay, preparing to write. Now what this does, which is nice, is it downloads everything online and then writes it directly. It shouldn't take long. We are verifying. It has been written. You can now remove the SD card from the reader. All right, we're going to try this. Hopefully now we can boot from the SSD. So let me go ahead and close this. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to risk this, and I think this is okay. It said I could. I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and we are going to come over here and we are going to reboot. Go back to our retro, and hopefully it will boot from SSD. Little fan spinning, little light was flashing. It's flashing again. There we go. Look at that. We are booting. We know we're booting because there's no SD card in here. Seems like it's taking longer than it does from an SD card. I probably just did that thing where it expands the file system and everything too. There we go. Mouse is working. All my configurations connected wirelessly to my network. And again, I'll have to put Pi apps on here because that is not on here. And there we go. Folks, we have finally and successfully gone from box to boot with a Raspberry Pi 5 using an M.2 Hat with SSD. So this is booting from the SSD, not from an SD card. I am so excited and so thrilled to have that done. I know, just the chat room's going crazy. The crowd goes wild. Hey, Martin, thank you very much, my friend. Really appreciate it. Martin decided to support my need for therapy after these last two live streams. So thank you, Martin. Appreciate it. Davey, welcome to the channel and a new member. So again, thank you for that. When I get your email address, I will send you access to the Discord so that you can start joining us over there. I'll try and get that done today. See, guys, let's see if I do this right. I just hit end show and all this should just work. Let's see. End show. Bye.